Hi there. In today's episode, we're going to talk about recognizing what you can control and getting creative around the things that you can't. If we haven't met already, my name is Bindi Belanger, and I'm a former executive turned meditation teacher and coach, helping people manifest more aligned lives, tune into their intuition, and learn how to surrender. Now, this year has been a roller coaster of a year, obviously, and it's unlike any other year most of us have ever experienced. Not only are we dealing with a great deal of uncertainty, but the weight of the uncertainty looming over the entire world is being deeply felt as well. As leaders, we feel a strong sense of responsibility for the future of our business and the well being of our team members. But when you're the captain steering the ship and it feels like the wheel has just been taken away from you, it's really hard not to feel helpless or powerless or frustrated or even betrayed. As human beings, and especially as leaders, autonomy is central to our sense of well being. And when we feel like we've lost control, our most common reaction is to try to regain that control at all costs and, quote, get back to normal. But what if you use this time to make some creative pivots in your business? First, it's helpful to do a little exercise and write down all of the things that you're worried about most in your business. So, your list might include things like employee well being and your ability to keep them employed, continuing to generate revenue, determining whether to invest in things now that might generate more revenue or save you some costs in the future. So, after you've done that, for each item that you've listed, I want you to create two columns. The column on the left will be all the things that you can control for this aspect of your business, and on the right, all of the things that you cannot control. So, just as an example, we'll take your employees, right? So, what are the things that you can control? If you're a business owner, you can control who remains employed. You can control how much they get paid, how many hours they work, what projects or responsibilities are assigned to them, etc. Now, what are some things that are out of your control? Well, whether they continue to choose to work for you, that's out of your control. Whether they get ill or otherwise pulled away from work, also out of your control. So you can continue to list things like that. Let's use revenue as an example. So if your revenue has been impacted, that's going to affect your ability to keep everyone employed. So, how are you able to get more creative in this space? For example, could you implement pay cuts in across the board instead of having to lay off a few employees? Or perhaps you could create a rotating furlough schedule. Can your existing employees refocus on new revenue generating projects and responsibilities instead of working on ones that you've had to shift away from? And then, speaking of new projects, like how can you get creative about things that actually bring money into your business? So, if your company has been severely impacted by COVID, let's say you're a restaurant or a retail shop, what types of new products or services could you introduce? How can you engage with your customers virtually? How can you use this time to innovate? And I'll just share a couple of quick examples. A lot of restaurants have created prepare at home meal kits that customers can order in advance and make at home. I actually heard of a hairstylist who started teaching people how to cut their own hair via Zoom video conference and was able to monetize that and actually grew their popularity hugely during this time because they saw a need in the market that wasn't being filled and they stepped up to fill that. So, we talk about innovation all the time, and generally it's something that businesses do well when things are going well. But the truth is, some of our most brilliant innovations have been developed during times of crisis. I mean, we've all heard of companies like Uber, Groupon, Venmo, and WhatsApp that started during the 2008 financial crisis and have become massive successes since then. But those were all internet startups. What about companies that have pivoted during the pandemic? So I want to share a couple inspiring examples with you. So GM and Dyson, for example, started making ventilators when the pandemic hit and there was a need. So they don't make ventilators or any medical devices at all. They make, car parts and cars and vacuum cleaners, but they were able to repurpose their manufacturing lines and not only serve a massive need for our country, but continue to generate revenue at the same time. Pepsi created two new direct-to-consumer platforms, pantryshop.com and snacks.com, in less than 30 days because they wanted to service a growing demand for online grocery shopping. Emirates Airlines began using more of its commercial fleet to start doing cargo shipments instead of passenger travel, which had obviously been impacted by COVID. But if you've been feeling stuck creatively, how do you generate that spark of innovation? Let's try a really quick visualization exercise. So, I want you to start by closing your eyes, but don't close your eyes if you're driving while listening to this. You can come back to this part later. If you're not driving, close your eyes, relax your shoulders, and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Continue this slow breathing, and with each inhale, imagine breathing in inspiration, and with each exhale, release fear, tension, and worry. Breathe in deeply to bring in inspiration, and exhale slowly to release fear. Now imagine your company 6 months from now. Your business is thriving and your employees are thrilled to be part of the vision that you've created. You've solved some tricky challenges, you've introduced some new products or services. What does that look like for you? How does that feel? As you start to step into this vision of what is possible in your company, sit in this stillness and allow the inspiration to come to you. When we're working and nonstop and just going from one project to the next and one task to the next, we don't leave ourselves opportunity for inspiration to come in. And that is really what we're looking for, is these new, exciting, alternative ideas to what your business could look like in this version of the new normal. So I want you to practice this visualization anytime that you feel the need to bring in a little bit more inspiration and creativity into your life. Now I'm going to invite Natalie to join me to continue this conversation as we go deeper into what innovation can look like during a crisis.